we've seen workers from Nabisco to John Deere walking off the job. Kellogg, exactly. Pretty much all your favorite snack foods are canceled, which is great because they're terrible for you anyway. And that's okay. That's solidarity. But why are we seeing this Striketober? What's happening around the country? And could this be the beginning of a resurgent movement?
Striketober, which immediately follows Antifagist. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, what's the cute name for September though?
Barricade Ember. And then soon, but the year ends with December break the chains of oppression.
Yes,
I almost said it right.
Septembers of the ruling class. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
One can only hope. Well, it's really hard to say. I mean, we saw what seemed to be a strike wave last year. It didn't turn out to be much. We look at statistics. I would dearly love this to be the beginning of a period of labor militancy and an end to 40 years of torpor on the part of organized labor and maybe even unorganized labor. But we'll see. Who knows? It's a very, very strange period in the economy. Nothing makes any sense at this point. We still have a lot of people unemployed compared to what were before the pandemic hit. Yet wages are rising. Employers complain they can't hire people. There's shortages everywhere, particularly in some industries. The whole supply chain. We're always now hearing about the supply chain being broken. Everything is busted. At the same time, the amount of stimulus coming out of the government, fiscal stimulus, is enormous. The amount of free money coming out of the Federal Reserve, which has gone mostly into the financial markets, has been enormous. So you've got enormous fiscal and monetary stimulus. At the same time, there's still, we're still like 5 or 6 million jobs short of where we would be to get back to the pre-pandemic level. And it's not clear what's up, whether employers are not hiring, whether workers are staying off the job. There's a lot of stuff going all at once, and none of it makes any sense. None of the old metrics make any sense.
Does the fact that we let 750,000 people die through mismanagement of the pandemic have anything to do with the possibility of a national labor shortage?
Probably not. But, that is a very grim statistic, and can make me cry if I think about it too much. But no, I don't really think it's, that's not of mega economic significance, but it is really just a grotesque human tragedy.
Well, I mean, and I think that early on when, you had Larry Kudlow, praising how well the stock market was doing in early days of the pandemic, while
it's even doing better now.
Exactly.
It's
tens
great,
of thousands. Yeah, and so we
700,000 dead next to a record high in the Dow,
Absolutely.
It's a small price to pay,
right? And it's that crass reality of capitalism that actually we are so expendable to this machine and to the economy, a very narrow-minded understanding of what the economy is. But when you talk about the stimulus, I wanted to ask you, if you were to grade the United States, how have we done when it comes to actually supporting people through this time? I know unemployment benefits recently ran out. We know that PPP loans went to goddamn Jared Kushner got some. But all in all, I mean, especially folks in the comedy industry who are like, oh yeah, no, I would have done. People who are like, oh, my other job was waiting tables, which didn't exist for 6 months. It's been meant life and death. Poverty, no poverty, food on the table, no food on the table, to have these stimulus checks and this unemployment. So what? Yeah, I guess how would you grade us, and then do we still need it?
Well, of course, it was well short of perfection, but my God, it was really surprisingly civilized, surprisingly generous. The amount of aid supplied by the government in various ways, the stimulus checks, the expanded unemployment benefits, aid to state and local governments, all these things have been extremely important and very. For example, in the first part of the pandemic last year, between February and April, something like 22 million jobs disappeared. Yet personal income rose because the level of support was so generous that it more than offset the loss of wage income. And that continued. There's a second and third round of stimulus, and it enabled people to set aside an enormous amount of money. Like, not everyone, of course. A lot of people are really in terrible shape and barely getting by, but millions of people were able to put away money on a scale that just never happened before. The savings rate hit 25%. for a little while last year. And I think that's one of the things that's been enabled people to remain picky about what kinds of jobs they're going to take. You know, the employers are complaining it's really hard to hire people. A lot of controversy over that's true or not, who knows. But
have you heard about the Great Resignation?
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to talk about next. But, you know, I think the fact that people do have some money in the bank, even the bottom half of the income distribution, according to Federal Reserve statistics, has about $4,000 more in their bank accounts than they did before the pandemic hit. Wow. Not a lot of money, but when, you know, these are people who normally don't have much in the bank at all. People in the middle have $10,000, $15,000 more than they used to. And so if you have that kind of cushion and a partner or a spouse who's working as well, you can say, you know, I'm not going to take your fucking shitty job. And there seems to be some of that going around. Also, the quit rate is the highest it's ever been. The officials' numbers go back to about 2000, but, you know, you can sort of simulate them the previous years. We haven't seen people quitting their jobs in these kinds of numbers in 40 or 50 years, probably. And, you know, you remember, well, you don't remember, I do. But back in the 70s, there was that great hit, Take This Job and Shove It. That seems now like a bit of ancient history, but it's coming back. There are a lot of people taking that attitude again. And it's just remarkable to watch. And it shows you that any kind of generosity in government support can really change the balance of class forces, which is why, you know, the American ruling class doesn't want to give people a dime. They don't want to expect anything. They don't want the slightest level of support so they can tell the boss to go fuck himself. And a lot of people who don't normally have go fuck yourself money have some right now, and it's an amazing thing to watch.
So I love the idea that, like, go fuck yourself money is like
$4,000.
Is it's also like an economic indicator. Like, I'm used to, you know, like, think about the business pages, and they're like these very like sober, you know, analysts, and
the index of leading indicators rose 0.2%.
Right, but they're over like, and you know, and the bottom 40% of the income distribution appears to now have go fuck yourself money, and that is raising alarm, you know, in the financial sector.
Well, it can't be allowed to continue. But on the other hand, you know, the financial sector is so rolling in cash. The Federal Reserve pumped out trillions of dollars of free money, which mostly went into the financial markets. It's created just this incredible bull market in stocks. It created a incredible bull market in housing. And weirdly, the housing bubble this time around is mostly a thing of the upper brackets. People at the low end, there's no subprime lending going on at all. It's all people who are pretty well off, who don't necessarily need to borrow a lot of mortgage money. But that's where all the action is right now. So the upper class is just rolling in money. Corporate America is rolling in money. It's not spending it on hiring people or investing in anything. It's been shoveling out money to its shareholders and paying the lowest corporate tax rates in history. You know, their pet senators like Manchin and Sinema are preventing any return even to the pre-Trump levels of corporate taxation, which were the lowest in history until now. So these people are very lightly taxed, and they're really rolling in it yet, and they don't want that to stop.
What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuation room. Do it.